Hello and welcome to this short training video on private fostering. So to just give you an introduction, many children who are privately fostered are not known to the services, institutions or people working with them. Privately fostered children are much more vulnerable because of their invisibility and because services do not always record and report information about them. Under new regulations, identifying, recording and reporting children who may be privately fostered is everyone's responsibility. The responsibility falls on all those people or agencies who come into contact with children and young people in their work. So a definition of private fostering. A private fostering arrangement is essentially one that is made privately, that is to say without the involvement of the local authority, for the care of a child under the age of 16 or under 18 if that child is disabled, by someone other than a parent or close relative with the intention that it should last for 28 days or more. The period of which the child is cared for and accommodated by the private foster carer should be continuous, but that continuity is not broken by the occasional short break. So what does that mean? A privately fostered child is a child or young person under the age of 16 or 18 if they have a disability. They are looked after by someone other than a parent, sibling, aunt or uncle or grandparent who has no parental responsibility, and it's for a period of more than 28 days. A private fostering arrangement is only legitimate if the parent gives informed consent and the local authority knows about and agrees with the arrangement. What it isn't. Children can live with and be cared for by their aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters or grandparents without outside involvement. This is not classed as private fostering. So some examples of private fostering arrangements. Children who are sent to this country for education or healthcare by parents who live overseas. A teenager living with a friend's family because they don't get on with their own family. Children living with a friend's family because their parents' study or work involves insociable hours, which make it difficult to use ordinary daycare or after-school care. A few other examples for you. Children staying with another family because their parents may have separated or divorced. A child from overseas staying with a host family while attending a language school. And students at boarding school who stay with a host family during the holidays. So to just give you some background around Victoria Climbié, Victoria was brought to the UK in April 1999 from the Ivory Coast via France by her great aunt. Theresa Marie offered Victoria's parents the chance of a good education for their daughter. She'd been brought to the UK on a private fostering agreement, and sadly on the 25th of February 2000 Victoria died. The Home Office pathologist found 128 separate injuries on her body and stated that it was the worst case of child abuse they'd encountered. In his inquiry into her death, Lord Laming highlighted concerns about arrangements for children who are in private foster care. Subsequent guidance has emphasised the duty of local authorities to safeguard privately fostered children. It's the responsibility of everybody who comes into contact with children through their work to report instances of private fostering, and that includes you. National minimum standards for private fostering. All local authorities, meaning schools, social care, other services for children and families, have a duty to assess the suitability of a private fostering arrangement. All privately fostered children will have a named social worker and will be visited regularly by their named social worker. The parent of the privately fostered child retains parental responsibility during a private fostering arrangement, and all services have a duty to promote awareness of a private fostering, actively identify and report private fostered children and arrangements, and act to safeguard and support privately fostered children and arrangements. So here are some frequently asked questions which we will move on to answer shortly. Is it my role to inquire about the status of a child? But my organisation doesn't gather information about a child or young person's living circumstances. Isn't that Children's Services responsibility? I know of a child in this situation, but everything seems fine. Do I still have to report this to the local authority? What if the local authority knows about the arrangement but the living situation changes? I know of a young person who's living in a private fostering arrangement, but if I inform the local authority, I will be breaching the confidentiality. What do I do? And where do I go for more information and support? So going through some of those questions, is it my role to inquire about the status of a child? Yes, absolutely. You should check that the parent of any child that you come into contact with consents to their living arrangements and report private fostering arrangements to the local authority. But my organisation doesn't gather information about a child or a young person's living circumstances. Isn't that the Children's Services responsibility? It is everyone's duty to identify, verify, record and report any circumstances which may be private fostering and to promote this with the children and families concerned. Victoria Climbié died because individual teams, agencies and systems failed to gather and share information. Children's Services are responsible for assessing the suitability of the arrangement and visiting the child regularly. I know of a child in this situation, but everything seems fine. Do I still have to report this to the local authority? Yes, you do need to report it. No one can assume everything is fine without checking. The local authority has a duty to assess the suitability of the arrangements and ascertain if the parent has actually given permission for the living arrangements before anyone can accept that the child has been safeguarded. What if the local authority knows about the arrangement but the living situation changes? Do I need to tell the authority? Private foster carers should tell the local authority about significant changes during private fostering arrangements within 48 hours. Significant changes could include a change of address, someone joining or leaving the household, if any member of the household has court convictions, disqualifications from fostering or limits on how many they can foster, the child leaves the private foster's care address, or if the privately fostered child dies. I know of a young person who is living in a private fostering arrangement, but if I inform the local authority, I will be breaching their confidentiality. What do I do? You must tell the local authority. You will not be breaching confidentiality by notifying Children's Services. You will be ensuring that the child or young person is safeguarded. You should also tell the child or young person that you intend to inform the local authority. Where can I go for more information and support? There's a lot of information on the private fostering page of North Yorkshire Council. You should be able to click the link on the slide. If not, you can scan the QR and that will take you straight to the page. So we're just going to go through some case examples for a little bit of a knowledge check. Shahira is 12. She's been spending a lot of time with her friend Kelly's family because her mum and dad are going through an unpleasant divorce and she finds the arguments upsetting. Shahira has asked that she live permanently with Kelly and her family. Shahira's mum and dad said that this is a good idea as the disruption is starting to affect her schoolwork. Would this be a private fostering arrangement? Yes, it would be, because Shahira will be staying with someone who is not a close relative and the arrangement is likely to last for more than 28 days, which would be a private fostering arrangement. Stephen is 5. His mum went into hospital to have a major operation. The doctors have advised her that she would not be able to look after Stephen while she was recovering and that it would take up to 2 months for her to fully recover. Stephen is staying with his grandmother until his mum is well enough to look after him again. Is this a private fostering arrangement? Because Stephen will be staying with a grandparent, this arrangement would not be a private fostering arrangement. It would be a kinship fostering. Bacco is 15 and has come to the UK to help him learn English. His parents have arranged that he will be studying at school and living with an English host family for the duration of his schooling. He plans to visit his family every 3 weeks. Is this a private fostering arrangement? Even though Bacco will still be seeing his parents at intervals of less than 28 days, this is still a private fostering arrangement because continuity is not broken by the occasional short break. Carrie is 17 and has a mild learning disability. She's decided she wants to spend more time with her boyfriend. She tells her parents that she is going to move in with him and his family. They agree that it's fine for her to do so. Is this a private fostering arrangement? Even though Carrie is 17, this would still be classed as a private fostering arrangement because she has a disability. We hope you found this training useful. Please do access the further resources on the earlier slide via the QR code. Thank you very much.